Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Coming and sitting down because today we're going to be talking about one thing I think a lot of people think we do on this channel. Fake disabilities. Living with a disability can create significant challenges in one's daily life. Not only do you have to adapt to physical and cognitive limitations, but the entire process can take on you financially, emotionally, and even socially. Of course, many people are still able to thrive and live a great life even when living with a disability, which has bred a wholesome genre of content on platforms like TikTok, where you get to see people living with shit and also just being like, I don't give a fuck, dude. It's my life and it's now or never. I'm gonna live with a disability. These videos showcase people with disabilities excelling at certain tasks, spreading the message that their condition doesn't limit them from doing what they want to do, and it opens up a conversation about how society looks at people with disabilities, discussing things like employment, discrimination, and accessibility issues. While most people wouldn't wish these conditions on their worst enemy, they would gladly play the part for a day if it means gaining something in return, like streamers who pretend to be paralyzed for pity donations.
Easily outgeared.
Oh my god.
That's why today we're going to take a look at people who fake disabilities with motivations that range from financial gain to freaky and bizarre perversions, because it's a Papa Meat video and we go there. Sorry. So without further ado, today we're talking about people who fake disabilities. People have been using this wave of positive disability content for something far more sinister, like the birth of AI Down syndrome thirst traps. I just had a fucking stroke. Holy shit. It's become a trend on Instagram and TikTok to use AI filters that alter one's face to make people appear as if they have Down syndrome. Accounts have been taking horny female thirst traps of OnlyFans content and altering them to look disabled, using captions like, "Does having Down syndrome mean I won't find love?" while they shake their ass at the camera and they pop their pussy and all that kind of stuff. And the comments are just fucking insane. Some of these boys, man, I tell you what, they need to find God. Is what they need to find. Many of these videos are being used to advertise OnlyFans accounts, which often seem to be run by fully AI deepfake models. Some of the videos being used to promote adult content were taken from women as young as 16 years old. This trend has resulted in a massive spike in search terms like Down syndrome fitness girl and Down syndrome beautiful girl. Many people are disgusted by the trend, not just over the ethical qualms of deepfaking people without their consent, but the exploitation and fetishization of Down syndrome for profit. While in most cases, the source videos are stolen by anonymous users, some creators have purposely utilized these filters to ride the wave and boost their view counts. Many have deleted their accounts upon being exposed, as their followers could clearly see that their Down syndrome randomly appeared out of nowhere when the trend started. And the issue gets even worse when you see just how many people are willing to fake disability out in the real world rather than just online. It takes a wild lack of shame to willingly do something like this. And when it comes to people that can't experience shame, nobody can hold a candle to Disney adults. That's right, baby, we're talking about Disney adults.
Did you see it?
At Disneyland parks, there used to be something called Guest Assistant Card, which aimed to accommodate guests with disabilities by creating a less stressful environment. The GAC pass allowed people to access alternate ride entrances, enjoy air-conditioned waiting areas, receive front row seats to shows, and sometimes even bypass lines entirely. People slowly began realizing that they could abuse the system in order to improve their Disneyland experience, and soon tons of people began faking disabilities to get one of these fucking cards, man. In some instances, people with legitimate disabilities started illegal businesses in which they hired themselves out to strangers to allow them to receive benefits. Disney adults would pay for disabled people to enter the park with them so they could get the fuck pass. Hello? The rampant abuse got so intense that Disney had to eventually change the entire system, replacing it with Disability Access Service in 2013. The pass required slightly more effort to obtain, requiring an initial meeting prior to the visit. Yeah, so they basically made it to where it's like, what is it, like a pre-check for a flight. TSA pre-check
to make sure.
Yeah, the Disney adults were like,
I don't want to participate anymore. I wait in line. It's too hard now.
Now, rather than bypassing lines, DSA pass holders would be given a reserved time that allowed them to walk freely instead of waiting in long lines. Of course, this soon became heavily abused as well, and Disney eventually got fed up with people pretending to have disabilities, instilling a lifetime ban on anyone that was caught lying to receive a DAS pass, which, to be fair, I think is fair.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're faking a disability.
If you're faking the fucking disability, it should be a one-time. It should be like, okay, no more.
I'm sorry, I hate waiting in lines.
The constant abuse of this system has resulted in the DAS passes being much harder to obtain, to the point where people with actual disabilities are turned down when applying for them. Some people have told stories of humiliating interviews where they desperately tried to convince the interviewer that their disability isn't actually real, only to sternly be rejected, which I think is a sign from God to say, this park's kind of fucking cringe. I think I'll just go somewhere else. Am I wrong?
No.
But I want to experience the joy they give at Disney World. I want to walk around with Anakin Skywalker,
Lightsaber?
my lightsaber, and then get an autograph from Goofy.
And blue milk?
And blue milk. And then ride on Space Mountain like a million times.
My DAS pass.
With my DAS pass.
Hell yeah. Do you think they flash it and stuff? People that have DAS pass?
Sorry, I get to cut in front of you.
Yeah, it's like a VIP card. Hell yeah.
I would. I'd flaunt it around. I'd peacock it a bit. Why not?
Sorry, I'm disabled.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. My disability allows me to go that way.
Wait! We want to thank today's sponsor, GamerSubs, our longest, most beautiful sponsors on this channel. You can go to gamersubs.gg and get our own flavor, raw meat. That's right, baby. It's one of the best. I'm going to say it's the best right now, and I think I need you to try it right now. It's keto-friendly, sugar-free, and there's non-caffeinated options if you have a little quail heart and it's too much for you. But also, GamerSubs right now has carbonated energy drinks. Move over, Red Bull. There's a new sheriff in town. They got all kinds of flavors right now, guys. And let me tell you, if raw meat keeps going the way it is, they're wanting to put that little bitch in a can and sell it as well. So be sure to check out my flavor, raw meat. And also, if you're unironically just wanting like a carbonated energy drink or more of the shaken energy drinks type stuff, GamerSubs is the way to go. It's fucking awesome. It is a very, very nice product. So thank you so much to GamerSubs for continuously sponsoring these channels. And hey, go check them out. You can get free samples. If you like big anime titty cups, they do tons of drops with different creators. It's just a nice thing for if you're a fan of online content and if you're needing a little extra energy boost. So thank you so much for GamerSubs for sponsoring this video, and back to the video. As it turns out, it's surprisingly common for people to get caught up abusing systems like these in order to reap the benefits. It goes far beyond theme parks, like with a police officer that claimed $600,000 over a fake injury.
Taxpayer money!
That's my fucking money! Nicole Brown, a cop from Westminster, was on a job in 2022 when she encountered a suspect of a crime. During the arrest, the man ended up striking her on the forehead and causing minor injuries. I don't know what that. She had only experienced minor dizziness the day the event took place. Regardless, she took a few days to recover. I mean, she was fucking struck in the head. Come on. Soon after, a doctor put her on total temporary disability, diagnosing her with severe concussion syndrome. She had spent a long period of time off work, fully paid. She accrued over $600,000 while on leave, all the while claiming she was left
Completely disabled
over the whole ordeal, and it turned out that she had been greatly exaggerating her condition. During her time off, she went skiing, snowboarding, participated in a 5K race 2 times, went to Disneyland,
hello again,
took college classes, and even attended sporting events. In a particularly absurd revelation, the investigation found that she had attended Stagecoach Musical Festival, dancing and partying alongside thousands of people. She was put on a virtual meeting during an investigation where her stepfather spoke for her, claiming she was unable to process words or thoughts on her own.
Daddy, I need you to speak. I can't.
She was ultimately admitted to an inpatient center for victims of traumatic brain injuries. She was revealed to be faking her disability. She was convicted of various charges relating to fraud and faces up to 22 years in state prison. I just gotta say too, at a certain point, here's the thing. I think it's a line you ride. I just want to say, she flew way too close to the sun. And to a point too where it was like, I don't think we have the full picture. I bet you she was faking her disability for all kinds of stuff, getting donations. I'm speculating. $600,000 for, I mean, what was her salary like? It just seems like there was something to where it's like accruing that kind of wealth that quickly. It's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? What, like if her salary was like $40,000 a year, to then go on meetings and be like, and fake that you can't speak and shit. It's messed up. Versus, I want to say that the line is also, if you get hit in the head at your job, you're like, what the squeeze a little bit of juice out of it. Game the system a bit to where you're just like, have the government fucking throw you some shit. Also, if the government's watching, Don, I'm joking.
This is a comedy video.
This is comedy. This is like me joking around. Nick, I need you to speak for me for the government right now.
Hello, government. Hunter can't talk right now. He's fully incapable. This is a comedy video. Give us a DAS pass for Disneyland. Thank you.
One place where having a disability can greatly improve your experience is in airports. Because of this, there has been a significant rise in flyers pretending to need wheelchairs. Because as you all know, if you've ever ridden on an airplane before, people in wheelchairs, primarily, why the fuck do old people need to fly? So I'm not going to get into that. Don't even put that in. People with disabilities that need assistance get on the plane, get to go first before anybody, even before the troops, Nick. See, but I've seen some people where I'm like, which is horrible for me to think, right? But I've seen one person where I'm like, this person's more in shape than I am.
Do you remember the nurse who like jammed the wheelchair in front of that 75-year-old guy?
Yeah, it was crazy. We've seen a lot like traveling for work and shit. We've seen a lot of crazy like stuff of people being like, you need to stop. Like people arguing in the like, you know, having like a disabled person in a chair, like, and they're fucking like wheeling them around and doing. It's fucking crazy, man. It's like sock and boppers or something, like hungry hippos in the fucking line there.
Well, the girl like helping with the wheelchair wasn't even an
No, she wasn't even. She didn't work for any airline.
Well, and the funny thing, she was like, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me."
And the person's like, "I see." Jamming the person, and they had like the whole Stephen Hawking thing where their legs are all like close together, or whatever, and they were just like being like flung around in the seat, like. Even people in line were like, "God damn, dude, calm down." People that require wheelchairs are often given special accommodations to make their flight and airport experience more comfortable for their condition. A man on TikTok abused this system to show people how you could benefit from pretending to have a serious injury. He is seen cutting lines, getting priority boarding, receiving multiple seats for himself, and being wheeled around by airport staff. That's a piece of shit. That's actually a fucking disgusting human being.
Do you remember at the casino, the guy in the wheelchair and the girl that they were going on a cruise ride?
Yeah, this guy had a girl on his lap, and he was like driving around. He like had his hand in the air. He's like, wee. I mean, it looked like it looked like he could actually have used the chair, but still, it's like, I think that old boy, he was peacocking for sure. It's become much more common for people to abuse the system, which has been referred to as miracle flights due to the passenger suddenly standing up from their wheelchair once the flight is over. Oh my God, you're healed! After a Frontier flight, one man witnessed 20 people enter the plane on wheelchairs, only for just 3 of them to be used when the plane landed. Another man posted to social media after seeing an entire family of 7 in wheelchairs being pushed around by staff. According to him, all 7 of them got up from the wheelchairs simultaneously on the way out of the airport. It's not common for people to use wheelchairs to get away with things like this. The internet is filled with these posts where people try to request advice on how to fake disabilities to get into concerts and other shows. One post explains how the show they wanted to attend was sold out, so they decided to buy a wheelchair accessible seat as well as rent a wheelchair for the night. He starts asking around for advice on how to make it seem more believable, with tons of comments advising him on how to sell the lie as effectively as possible. People are awesome. To those that criticized him for being an asshole, he responded by saying that he had a great time, adding that people held doors open for him and bought him free beers. It's one thing to do something like this for something minor, like, I don't know, a concert, or I don't know, like when I was young and when you first got your driver's license pass, you go to Walmart and you get in the little rascals and drive around because you're an idiot. You're dumb. As a child, you don't realize that like this is extremely inconsiderate what you're doing. I completely understand that. You're a piece of shit. And I deserve to die. Maybe not to that extent, but you know. But this pales into comparison to those who use it to satisfy their sick sexual desires. That's right. Some people will gladly fake a disability simply because they want a nice, attractive woman to change their diaper.
Look at that photo.
I know, this photo is fucking haunting. Rutledge Diaz IV, a 31-year-old man from Louisiana, was found to be paying healthcare workers to change his adult diapers. This man claimed to have special needs and was unable to take care of himself. He posted various fake advertisements online trying to lure in healthcare workers who thought that they were coming to provide home healthcare for a made-up character named Corey, described as his 18-year-old brother who was mentally and physically handicapped. Rutledge would then pose as Corey and have the worker change his diaper to fulfill his strange fetish. For this, he was charged 10 counts of sexual battery and human trafficking in 2019. One victim spoke out about it, stating, quote, "I used to believe that almost everyone in the world was internally good. In this case, I was wrong." And in 2020, he was caught doing the same thing, this time looking for a babysitter for what he described as alternative therapy. When the person arrived at the home for the act, he would hassle them to solicit the same service from another person who could take care of him. Basically, soliciting someone to change his diaper as well because he couldn't do it himself. One of the babysitters eventually caught on, leading him to being arrested from his home and charged with the attempted human trafficking yet again.
They're throwing human trafficking at him?
I wonder what is it? I wonder why human trafficking.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm guessing because it's a sexual act.
Well, is it because also you're luring someone there with false pretenses, and it's not kidnapping, it's human trafficking, maybe, or something like that? I don't know. Put up a little blurb. I don't fucking know. This is the only time someone used a fake disability to have his diaper changed. In fact, 2 years prior, Paul Anthony McChunka was caught doing the same thing. He would pose as his own mother, calling himself Amy. Amy would tell caregivers that her son had Down syndrome, enlisting caregivers to giving diaper changes and to bathe them. During his baths, caregivers reported that Anthony would become visibly sexually aroused.
Jesus.
And on 5 separate occasions, he aggressively told one caregiver during bath time that his genitals were not clean enough.
A little fucking sneaky snake.
Not only that, but they were also given special instructions regarding punishments from Amy. They were told to punish him whenever he soiled himself by putting him on timeout and taking away his privileges. One worker took care of him on 30 separate occasions, even referring other caregivers to do the same. Eventually, one suspicious caregiver followed him back to his parents' house, only to find the entire thing was an act. Anthony came clean when the 3 women confronted him. He was arrested over charges of sexual abuse and fraudulent schemes.
Couldn't you just find someone online, like post roleplay?
I think it's the unconsenting act. The person doesn't want you to know. The person wants to feel like they're getting something over. It's a total power trip.
I see.
If the person knows, it probably takes the joy out of this like sick game he's playing.
Where he's just like, they don't know I'm disabled.
Because the healthy thing would be, I don't give a fuck. If you're a guy who's like, I want someone to change my diaper, and you like have someone who's just like, hey, that gets me hard and wet too. I love changing filled diaper. That's your business, right? To have someone who's just like there to legitimately try to help you, to me, it just is even more sad. It takes a truly unwell person to justify doing something this deplorable. But what about an entire team of people faking disabilities? This was the case during the 2000 Sydney Games. During this event, there was a Paralympic basketball tournament specifically for the mentally disabled. People were shocked to see that the Spanish team dominated against the others, ending each game at least 15 points ahead. People became suspicious after a popular Spanish sports magazine reported on their victory. Readers started writing into the publication to say that they recognized the people on the team and that they were not disabled in any way. As pressure started to rise, one of the players started to reveal the truth. Not only was he not intellectually disabled, but 10 of the 12 players weren't as well. It turns out that the medical exams performed on the players were incredibly simple, to the point where some players only had to have their blood pressure taken and perform 6 push-ups. Their coach was totally on board with this, to the point where he would instruct his player mid-game on how to look even more visually disabled during the games.
Drool.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Drool. Here. Like, look around. There's bees. Bees.
A timeout, and you have to tell people, you guys aren't
Yeah,
selling
time. You guys have got to scream more. Act like there's a beehive above you at all times. They come out of it and just like, oh, the team's really looking kind of crazed here. The Spanish Paralympic Committee eventually took away their gold medals, and the team was heavily fined.
And when I had the gold medal in my hand, when they put it around my neck, I was really, really somebody. A week passed, and they were saying that Spain had cheated, and we gotta give back my gold medal.
And of course, things can escalate to pretty insane heights. Some people can take disability scams to an entirely new level. MS-13 went so far as to put people through spinal surgeries to fake workplace injuries into a $1 million lawsuit.
Holy shit.
That is fucking crazy. They would find border crossers or homeless people, drive them to the city and treat them well before pressuring them into joining their scheme. They would then put the homeless people through various accidents like falling off a ladder or falling over at a construction site, making sure to coach them on how to make it extra believable. Then they would go to a sleazy lawyer to help them set up a lawsuit, and from there they would have surgeons who were in on the scheme as well use screws and plates to fuse healthy vertebrae together. That just sent like such a shock down my spine, dude. Oh my god. Can you imagine like you're totally fine, the next day you wake up and someone has like actually screwed and put plate? I mean, ugh.
Not even worth it.
No, God, no. And by doing this, they would claim that the injury that they sustained required various expensive surgeries. Business and landlords would be hit with lawsuits that would settle often for at least $1 million. They would pay as little as $1,000 for a struggling person, put them through a life-altering surgery, pocketing the rest of the money for themselves, and they made millions of dollars from this endeavor, with some insurance firms claiming up to 650 alleged fraudulent lawsuits in the past 4 years. And let's end things with a satisfying bit of karma coming from China. Zhang, a man from China, was accused of murder in 2005. He had a physical altercation with his uncle-in-law over $76 in rent, and things escalated to the point where he ended up stabbing the man to death. once again, over a dispute for $76, which in 2005 money, that's like probably $30,000. To avoid prison, he changed his name to Wang Gui and traveled 450 miles away from his home in order to live a new life as a construction worker. To make sure he never revealed sensitive information regarding his crime, he committed to being a mute for the foreseeable future. Gwen Gui. Gwen Gui. Oh, that's right. He's mute.
He just took a vow of silence. I killed someone. I'm not going to talk again.
Yeah, exactly. He's like sitting there. His boss comes over. Hey, did you kill someone over $76 rent? That's right. He's mute. Somehow, he was able to remarry and even give birth to a new child without breaking his mute lifestyle. Didn't have to talk to his wife.
Do you think he broke during sex?
Oh. Did you speak? And after 12 years, he was approached by the police regarding a household survey conducted in his village. After realizing that he had no paperwork, he was taken in and eventually given a DA test that revealed that he was the man that committed the murder over a decade prior. Zhang tried to speak to the police and plead his innocence, but he was unable to. His vocal cords atrophied so much over the years that he was now incapable of speaking without a pen and paper. That's some karmatic shit right there, dude.
Yeah.
He was eventually arrested and jailed for his crimes. It goes without saying that there's a special place in hell for people that pretend to have altering disabilities, especially when it starts to make things worse for people who actually struggle with them. Over time, stories like this lead to higher rates of skepticism over whether or not someone is actually suffering from these conditions, whether it's Disney DAS passes being denied to disability people or scummy disability scams raising people's insurance rates. Someone is always getting screwed over these selfish actions. And usually, the majority of the time, it's the people with actual disabilities and not the criminals that are out there trying to pass off on some weird, creepy ruse. I just gotta say, don't fucking fake a disability, all right?
You think people who fake disabilities should be put to death?
Jeez, I guess it's case to case. You know what? Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
I don't know. I've seen videos. There was a video that went viral for a bit where a guy faked having a mental disability in his town, and he was just robbing people. He like asked for donations, and he apparently made like a ton of money every year. He'd sit there. He did the thing, and he even like it was like a news report.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, and he's like sitting there, and he's like doing his act, and then at the end, he's like sitting there like joking about it, like not giving a fuck. It just makes you think, how do you like not just feel horrible?
My bead boy, I'm just playing. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta make some money. I appreciate you guys busting me.
Appreciate this.
Yeah, I'm really good at it. Really good.
So all I gotta say is, listen, if you see somebody faking a disability in this way, break their legs. If they're faking a mental disability, take a crowbar and beat them over the head. I'm joking. Also, if a guy comes up to you and he says, let's fake an injury and let's screw your spine together, you say no to that. Okay? All right? If you're in a pinch, there's other ways to get out of it besides screwing the vertebrae and putting plates in your spine. All right? Love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Just come on. All right? Let's think about it for a second. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.